Hello, I am Allie from Warglitter Zines, and today I'm going to review zines by two zinesters, Craig Atkinson and Iestyn Pettigrew. And neither of them know this yet, but both of them were original inspiration for me starting this channel.
Well, there you stand, with your graduation hat in your hand.
I don't love this light, but I've been fiddling with it for about 20 minutes now, and the sun just keeps moving. So this is what we're doing. Craig does not know that I'm reviewing his zines yet, by the way, but I figured this would be a nice surprise because we're pals now. I originally ordered like four issues of Coffee and People from Craig back in March, which is crazy but apparently true because I still have the envelope that he sent them to me in. And I bought from him through Instagram, just following his posts back when I was still too much of a weenie to be like, hey, let's trade. So I got 1 through 4, and since then he's put out at least one more. I'm pretty sure just one more. And it's really interesting to see the evolution of them because they started out as one-pagers, and they were all typed. And then by the third one got a little bigger and still doing typed, but trimmed really nicely and kind of more of a piecemeal feel to them. Like you can see places where they've been copied and pasted, or like cut and pasted in, and then he did some stuff with stamps that's really fun, and all of the page numbers are stamped like this, which I like a lot, and I like this on the back. So those are the first 3, and then by the 4th one he had upped his game quite a bit. The cover is more of cardstock feel, and this is a hand-stamped bicycle. You can still feel the bumpiness from the ink from where he hand-stamped it. Craig lives in Japan now, and so this one is about cycling, which I've never really, okay, so cycling. I did not learn how to ride a bike without training wheels until I was in the 5th grade. And I know that that's something that most people are capable of doing by the age of 4. I am just a spaz. Craig's zines came to me at a time when I was feeling a little uptight about making a new zine. I had finished the Carly Rae Jepsen zine, which is very, I mean, it looks kind of haphazard, but this is a very meticulously put together zine that I did. Like this got a kind of obsessive. It was such a pain in the butt. I was really proud of it, but I wasn't looking forward to starting another zine because it just felt so hard. And when I got Craig's zines, I really loved issue 4 because it was handwritten instead of typed out, and it just feels so much more personal to be writing, to be reading his handwriting. It feels more like reading a letter from a pen pal, and I'm male obsessed, so that works for me. And I always have been complimented on my handwriting, and I just thought, this is it. Like, this is how you're going to get over this perfection paralysis. And so I sat down and started writing the story that ended up being my next zine, Guilt. And it is very similar to Craig's because it's all handwritten. And I did this just in an attempt to kind of give myself a break, and relax into the process a little bit more. So Craig's issue 4 of Coffee and People is what really made this possible for me. So thank you, Craig, for being rad and having good ideas and putting them down on paper, because they gave me ideas. And also thank you for reviewing my zine on 5 o'clock zines. If you don't know Craig, I don't know where you are in the world, but you need to know Craig because he is the person behind 5 o'clock zine, and he does zine reviews on Instagram, and they're a minute long usually. He might do 2 videos if it's like a longer zine or something like that, or has more to say. But he is so prolific. He pretty much posts one every single day. And I remember when he made the account, he was like, this is my experiment that's probably going to fail, but it hasn't. It's still going on, and it's really, really cool. So definitely, I'll put his thingy down in the thing. Definitely follow him on Instagram because he reviews so many good zines, and there's a review like every day, which I wish I could commit to, but I know myself better than that. I just can't. So yeah, thank you, Craig. You are a zine inspiration, and I love you. My zine, Guilt, is about when I was in elementary school and I wanted a pair of glow-in-the-dark shoelaces that were in the treasure box at daycare. You could get stuff out of the treasure box if you were good. And the people who worked there hated me, so I never had the opportunity to get anything out of the treasure box. And the glow-in-the-dark shoelaces were just about the coolest thing I had ever seen. So I stole them. The cover is drawn by me, and you can tell that it's drawn by me because I screwed it up. I forgot the part of the laces that go across in just like a straight line instead of diagonal because I'm a doofus. And I'm really proud of the word guilt being spelled out with a shoelace. Our next little set of zines are from Iestyn Pettigrew, who contacted me when I made the Guilt zine and asked if we could trade. And what he said when he messaged me on Instagram was that he didn't have anything to trade for, but he still wanted one. And I was like, okay, well maybe I'll just send you a zine and then you can write me a letter back in return. Like, there's no reason for you to spend money on this dude. And what I got back in return was actually a letter and 4 zines. So don't let Iestyn hold out on you. He has zines to trade, okay? So the letter that Iestyn sent me is one of the reasons why I decided that I wanted to start a channel and start reviewing zines and actually become a larger part of the community. And there is at least one more zinester who also contributed to that, but maybe I'll talk about him next week or maybe the week after that. But he says in his letter, I hope you enjoy my zines. Thanks for the trade. I really enjoyed reading Guilt, and actually it triggered off a set of thoughts I'd been trying to avoid for a while, which was good. Emergency, the photo zine, wouldn't be what it is now if it hadn't been for my reading Guilt. I meant to ask whether you drew the cover yourself. I really like how well it complements the zine, so kudos to whoever drew it. Let me know what you think. And so today, Iestyn, I'm going to let you know what I think. I think that this zine is incredible, and I think that being told that something that I made had absolutely anything to do with you creating the zine is one of the most amazing things, and it's why I decided I wanted to be a bigger part of the zine community, because your zine is so honest and heartbreaking and earnest and sweet. And just the idea that I could have anything to do with that just amazes me. It just amazes me. And it's just so special. It makes me feel, I don't even know, I can't even, it makes me feel like it makes me feel like I matter in a way that I've always wanted to. Yes. Iestyn's zine, Emergency, is about being the father of a special needs child who is old enough that he should be able to use the restroom himself. But because he has special needs, Iestyn has to go into the restroom with him. And it deals with a lot of really difficult emotions, and I can't imagine even putting them down on paper, let alone having to process them daily. Emergency is a photography zine, and the photographs in it are photographs that he has taken while waiting in the restroom for his son to finish up, so that people don't assume that he's in there doing something bad. Iestyn writes, I think the greatest sadness is having to feel phobic of others thinking you're a monster because you walk down the street holding your teenage son's hand. Because you're going in to help your son who can't help himself. So I cope by taking pictures that I think look cool, so I don't have to meet his eye, so I can almost think this is productive and rewarding. But I'll always remember to turn the camera click off, because if they hear you take pictures whilst you're in the toilet with a young teenage boy, you'll almost certainly find yourself in trouble. And so it's very much about how you look to other people in a situation where like you're literally doing your best for your child, and how you look to other people should be the last thing that you have to worry about. It's unlike any other zine that anybody has sent me before. It's amazing. It's seriously amazing, and it's something that people don't really talk about because it's unpleasant, and we don't like to talk about unpleasant things. And I'm really grateful that Iestyn was brave enough to write this story down. And the idea that my silly little story in my zine had anything to do with him writing this, it just blows my mind. And it made me feel like I needed to be doing more for the zine community, because the zine community is so amazing. We get so much out of making zines and sharing them with each other, and I wanted to be a bigger part of that, thanks to Iestyn. Thank you so much, Iestyn, for letting me review your zines, and Craig, I hope you were cool with it because I did it anyway. If you would like to keep up with me, I am the most active on Instagram. I'm Warglitter over there too. I'm kind of turning it into my main place that I am, because I'm not writing a lot of blog posts and I don't love Twitter. And since zines are a visual medium anyway, it just kind of makes sense to do it somewhere where that's really easy to post. So you can find me over there. I think I've got about 80 followers at this point, which is kind of amazing because none of them are people who know me. So that's pretty awesome. And thank you to the wider zine community in general. You all are the reason that I started doing this. So please send me some zines to my P.O. box. Next week I will be reviewing the first zine that anybody sent to my P.O. box. It's kind of a big deal. So I'll see you next week. Keep making, do it yourself.